Jezebel's threats, you wouldn't believe that such person would be depressed and he would run away to and hide in a cave, from what you would term in quote an ordinary woman. Do you get? And he was depressed. So how? So should Elijah be depressed? Should he have such a mental cases? How are we as a Christian able to go through this phase in life and come out from? I think that is why we need an expert to also look into this matter with us.
Yes, thank you very much. Before Doctor comes online, we can talk as Christians, maybe because we don't really have as much experience in that particular field. And that's the reason why we are going to bring in a doctor tonight. But then we have biblical examples. Look at the 3 Hebrews. I mean, something that would have taken their lives away was when they were put before Nebuchadnezzar, right? Bow down before this image. No, we refused to bow down. They stood their ground. So they were able to fully understand that I know whom I believe. I know my Redeemer lives. He's going to, when you are passing through fire, he's with you. That is how we can interpret the kind of power, how to manage this kind of situations. But then we have certain cases that might be totally, that might really need the experts, to step in. So as Christians, what should be our take? What should be our advice at this point, at moments like this, when we know that no, this is not just the spiritual that we're talking about here. You need absolute care from an expert. How do we step in those situations and then talk to an expert, or tell them to go talk to an expert in situations like this? What do you think, Evangelist?
You know, like you rightly said, which is very important. You see, for David, if you look at the Psalms, you see some of these quotes where David had to say, God is my refuge in time of trouble. These were times he was experiencing mental issues. Imagine someone had to go through to the battle and come back and his home is already being plundered. He's depressed. That's what happened. He's depressed. So maybe those days there were no doctors to look at health issues. So we have the word of God, surely. But there comes a time in life also you need to also look at expert advices. For example, I think it was General Evangelist that was saying that he had already prayed for a man and he still advised them to take him for checkup. We see in most of our churches nowadays where you have medical personnel, even right in service, for you to check. So it is very important that even with the power of God also, we have experts, and these experts are also given knowledge by God to use to help us tackle these situations.
Thank you very much, Evangelist. I'm sure Doctor will also agree with us. I think there is a phrase used by medical experts, right? We care, but God heals. Exactly. So there is the place of God. There is the place of a doctor. The doctor can care for you. The doctor we are going to bring online tonight, I know is from the UK, but we hear job titles like caregivers. You see, they are there to attend to you. You see, God is not going to descend from heaven. No, he won't descend. At some point in time, there is a church that we have in the United Kingdom, Christ Apostolic Church, Balm of Gilead. You see, those type of, you have certain people or characters that God purposely stationed them to attend to our needs. So your needs can be in the form of, it can come in the area of maybe Psalms, for example. That's when we have the book of Psalms. It can come in other forms. You see, so we need to be able to fully understand that when care is needed, especially when it comes to mental cases, you need to get the care. Now, the prayer person that you might even consult might not know the genesis of that, of how to tackle or even conduct a diagnosis of your problem. The scripture also talked about people that are sick. What? visit what? The elders.
Yes, sir.
Because what? They have the knowledge, they have the experience to be able to say, this thing I'm looking at, excuse my English, you need what? You need someone to do what? Attend to you.
Yeah.
So as Christians, how do you think we can then encourage people? See, it's not a matter of we've seen cases where people just kept quiet about their illnesses, and for that reason that led to their death. Care is needed. There are stories of 40-year-old people. Once you start getting to that age bracket, 40 and above, you need to start doing what? I think they call it full body examination and things like that. To do what? To check your vitals. It is important. Do everything that needs to be done. Just before we came here tonight, myself and Pastor Tolu, we were with one of our mothers. They were in their homes watching us online, and they were talking about what? How someone that they know had to be what? Had to be cared for. They had to, even though as Christians, they fully understood that what? This person needs a doctor. So as Christians, sometimes when we see cases like this, what should be our motto? What should be our message to people?
Thank you very much, Pastor. So I don't know if you can confirm that doctor is around, but I am to answer your question. You see some of these things are not really big. Solutions to that the doctors give might be as simple as mindfulness training.
Thank you.
And mindfulness training has to do with meditation, sort of, which is what is in line with the Bible. It might just be in a solitude place and practice mindfulness. It's not dangerous, but it's because we don't have a proper knowledge of these things. But I believe that is why we have the doctor here with us. And I think we can have the doctor now. Can you hear us, Dr. Shitu? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Very good.
Thank you very much. Doctor, you're welcome to tonight's session. So we have Dr. Shitu online, and Dr. Shitu is a graduate of Olabisi, I beg your pardon, Obafemi Awolowo University, and that's the Great Ife, right? He also has he also has qualifications in MRSC Psych, ST5 in forensic psychiatry, and he currently works he's been working in the United Kingdom now for 6 years. To break it down a little bit for some of us, MRSC Psych, I think it's just it identifies the membership of the Royal College of Psychiatrists, being a postgraduate qualification awarded by the Royal College of Psychiatrists, and ST5 is a specialty trainer, basically year 5, and this refers to the 5th year of specialized training in psychiatry. So we have a wealth of knowledge from our analysts tonight. So tonight's session, I want the doctor, the experts tonight, to break it down for us. I'm going to highlight the key areas of our questions tonight, and then we'll break it down, we'll dissect it. So the first one that we'll be looking at is overcoming the debate on mental health. That's the first one. So we have some questions down for that one. Then the second one is the impact of mental health on the body of Christ. The third one is overcoming mental health challenges. And then our title for tonight's session is mental health awareness, shepherding in time of crisis. So doctor, let me ask the very first question. What is mental health?
So I prepared some slides. I'm not sure if it's something you can put up just about what mental health is, and just talk about a few things. It's only 9 slides. It should not take up to 10 minutes, really. It defines what mental health is, some of the things that we need to consider. I will share those slides now if that's okay.
That's absolutely fine.
And it's just to let us know, and just to say, I'm not a specialist really. I've been practicing psychiatry for, about 8 years. I practiced I worked in Benin before I came to the UK, and I've been there for about 6 years. So I will share the slide. The slides are not mine. There were some slides we used during some teaching sessions. Let me just, I think I'll put that back up. No, that's not it. Let's see. Okay. Can we see that, yeah?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so it's just some overview about what mental health is, what affects your mental health, what do we look for, and how can we support ourselves. Something you said earlier resonated with me, about trauma. And, as sad as it is, before I left Nigeria 6 years ago, I've suffered my own trauma in the sense that I think it was 6 months before I left Nigeria, I was attacked by armed robbers when I was working in Benin. And I was actually shot with a gun.
Wow.
They stopped me, told me, yeah. They stopped my car, told me to come out of the car. They wanted some money. I didn't give them the money, and they shot at me, yeah? But, thankfully, thanks to God, I survived, out of some miracle, really, which I can explain. But, at one point in time, a lot of people have suffered a lot of traumatic experiences, we don't really talk about. So we talk about mental health. So there is a definition by the World Health Organization. It defines mental health as a state of well-being in which everyone realizes their own potential and can cope with normal stress of life, work productively, function, effectively in the community. And what does that mean is that everybody has a state of mental health, regardless. And I think people confuse when people say, I'm suffering with mental health. I kind of find that incorrect because everybody has a state of mental health, which is just a state of well-being. How everyone is able to function in the community and cope with, daily, stress, either it could be job stress or marriage stress, as the case may be. Of course, when your mental health becomes overwhelming and then you start having, disorders like depression or, schizophrenia or PTSD or whatever, then of course that's when people suffer with their mental health, and then that's when it becomes difficult. Now, there is a slide there that talks about statistics, which is in the UK. I don't have statistics for Nigeria, and it talks about 1 in 4 people in the UK would experience some mental health problem every single year. And and in fact, in the last 4 years, since COVID, since people isolated, the crisis has gone up really. We run clinics over here, and I can't even tell you how many people we see on a daily basis. I worked last night and I still had to go and see somebody at 2 a.m. because she was saying that she was going to kill herself, and we had to go see her just because it was urgent. So when you see people here as well, which is a bit different from Nigeria, because in the UK, people tend to engage more, people tend to talk about their difficulties more, like Nigeria, where, for example, I was talking about how I was shot. And you will not believe that a week after I was robbed, I was back at work already. My hand was bandaged because I lost a finger after being shot, and I was already back in there. Work.
Okay.
And that was it, So it just talks about a lot of people. Talks about percent. I don't want to bore people through because this is just a UK statistics. I'll move on from that slide. Now, there's something that correlates with what is called mortality, of course, which is percentage of people that die as a result of a particular illness. And it says that social isolation is an independent variable for life expectancy. Now, in the UK here, there are a lot of lonely people, and those are the people that you often see come into the clinic and tell you, my mood is low, I feel suicidal, I don't feel like life is worth living, and years down the line, you see these people coming in with, either taking overdoses because they want to end their lives or threatening to jump off a bridge, as the case may be. So, and it's a bit different in Nigeria because if you're isolated, I don't think nobody really cares, is it? As the case may be, which is a bit different here. I can say that. Now, what can affect people's mental health? Like I said, everybody has a state of mental health. We all have a state of mental health, just like we have, physical health, just like we have spiritual health, just like we have, emotional health, as the case may be. Everybody has a state of mental health. But what can affect it? Poverty, quite a lot of things listed there. long-term illnesses, divorce, trauma, which is extremely important. You see, of course, being here, you hear a lot of news about people that have been kidnapped, in Nigeria. And sometimes I tell my wife, and I said, it's not even about the fact that you're kidnapped. It's about the aftermath. Nobody talks about the trauma that you experience from just being in the bush with some unknown people, being tortured on a daily basis, and you have to go back to the community, and everybody expressed it never happened, which is almost impossible. Nobody ever talks about these things. Unemployment, sexual abuse, which a lot of people don't talk about, especially in Nigeria, quite very common here as well, which I would not really go into. Relationship problems, here you see a lot of people coming to the hospital, they've only break up with the boyfriend, and the next thing is they want to end their life, and you've got to care, you've got to show them that empathy and try and find ways to help them as the case may be. And quite a lot of other things as well, bereavement, as the case may be. And what do you look for when people are struggling with their mental health? This is just a few out of a whole lot of things. There are several mental health disorders. You could have people suffer with depression. You could have people with personality disorders. You could have people with schizophrenia. So quite a lot of people with schizophrenia when I was in Benin. I worked in the psychiatric hospital in Uselu. Quite a lot of people with psychosis, really, as the case may be. Depression, as the case may be as well, bipolar affective disorder, several disorders, and they have their own presentations really. But this is just like general thing to look for in several people. So you see somebody who's becoming withdrawn, somebody who's becoming low, change of behavior, something that it feels unusual, somebody that comes to work every day, comes 9 o'clock every day, and all of a sudden starts coming late to work, or does it come to work at all? Then you want to know what's going on. Before things go downhill, because one thing we know is that before people suffer full-blown mental health crisis, there are warning signs. There are signs that are there that, as Nigerians, we might tend to ignore, or might just say, Naija boy, ain't go cope, stuff like that. So like you mentioned, social isolation, change in physical appearance. Somebody that likes to dress corporate to work, all of a sudden starts changing the way they dress, Those are the things that tell you something might be going on. Changes in it. Sorry, yeah?
Can you hear me? So, if you permit me because
yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
If you permit me because of time, I like to go practical here. Let's say a pastor, in the northern part of Nigeria, for example, has his family kidnapped. How does he overcome that state? What does he need to do? Because we are really pressed of time, and I really need to get some of these questions out so that people can really learn from it. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah. I'm happy for us. I'll stop sharing. I just wanted us to have that overview. I'm happy for us. So can you repeat the question again? So there's a pastor in the north, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that his family kidnapped?
Yeah. So what and he's already been depressed and all. What should he do? Should he just go to mountain and start praying? He even know that he's having some of a mental case, or as the case may be. So what should he do? How should he approach such things?
The first thing is to identify that there is a problem. The first thing is to identify that I'm going through a mental health crisis at the moment, and there is no issues with praying. There is no issues with going to the mountain and saying, and praying that, your family is, safe and, they're rescued. But it's also understanding that if you're depressed, there are medications that can help, If you're not sleeping, there are medications that can help. If you have anxiety, there are medications that can help. Of course, what the medications do not do is that they don't take away the fact that your family has been kidnapped. But of course, it makes you feel better, it makes you sleep, and it reduces the anxiety that you feel. And it's not just only medications as well. There's talking therapy. There are psychologists that, well-established psychologists that people speak to, people that have experienced trauma, that you can speak to, lots and lots of sessions really, and that people actually find helpful. And just to say also that they are very, very research-based. We know that they work. So we offer them to people that we see. So if there was a pastor that was, feeling depressed because the family has been kidnapped, or because he's lost a very close family member and is struggling to cope, of course, the first thing we would do in that case would be to refer to a psychiatrist, as the case may be, and try and explore, is this truly depression? Is this grief? Is this bereavement? Is this some form of acute stress, and the way you manage it is different. You know, if it's depressed and you think, okay, it will benefit from some talking therapy, you refer to talking therapy. Of course, living in Nigeria, we don't have a lot of psychologists or psychotherapists in Nigeria, which I know. But
let me step in now. I'm sorry to say, we have just 5 minutes left, but I'm still going to ask one more question, and then my co-moderator will be asking the final round of questions. So my own question now is, what are some of the specific challenges and traumas that, let's look at it from the perspective of us as Christians now, or it can be from our race. You live in the United Kingdom. I'm sure you have you've had cases of racism in the United Kingdom and in other parts of the world. But here in Nigeria, we still have our own challenges when it comes to, oh, you're from this religion, or you're from this tribe, and so on and so forth. So what specific challenges or traumas that we face may be the what challenges or traumas that Christians may experience, or as the case may be, whatever race that we may experience, that's what
I think the first thing,
due to persecution.
The first thing is,
yes, go on.
I think the first thing is lack of awareness. You know, it's a lack of awareness that people don't realize in Nigeria that mental health is a big thing. You know, lack of awareness in terms of when people feel depressed or when they feel low, they don't understand that they need to see a psychiatrist. And there are psychiatrists in Nigeria that will see people. I mean, I've talked quite a few people that worked in Benin. There is stigma as well. We can't underestimate the impact of stigma. How can I, who is a renowned pastor, tell, my other pastors that I'm feeling depressed and I went to see a psychiatrist? How would they see me? Would they see me as being powerless? Would they see me as losing faith, as the case may be? So you can't underestimate that stigma that people feel, which we need to overcome eventually if we need to, get the best from our mental health. Of course, we look at resources as well. Grossly, there's a lack of resources in Nigeria, as the case may be. Like I said earlier, we have very, very few psychotherapists or psychologists that can help with these things. And which, if you come to a country like the UK, of course, there is quite a long waiting list, but there are people available that can talk to you about these things. And it's not just about medication, really. So, and of course, we can still sit down here and talk about the economic crisis, which would impact on, funding for, some of these things, either creating hospitals or training people to become psychologists, as the case may be. So, of course, we look at all these, all these challenges, and we think about how we can overcome these challenges, really. So it's all about creating that awareness, letting people know that talking about their mental health is not a form of stigma. And I think it's a place to start.
I think I would love to ask, in rounding up, really, are there any quick fixes? Are there quick fixes to these things?
No, there are no quick fixes. No, unfortunately, because it's not a case of where you have high blood pressure and you take antihypertensive medication, or headache and you take paracetamol. It involves a lot of self-awareness in terms of, I'm struggling with my mental health at the moment, and I really want to seek help. I don't care about the stigma. I don't care about what people would say. I am a human. I am vulnerable. And I am not perfect. I'm not God. So I will seek help when I know that help is there.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shitu, for this time. It's been a very lovely session, though quite short, but very lovely. You want to say something, sir?
Yes, thank you very much, Doctor. It's great having you on board tonight. You've greatly impacted our lives. Yeah, from the perspective of a doctor, even though we might add few things from the Bible here and there, but it's always good to have a variety, to have that mix, and you've done a great job by answering our questions. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a wonderful session. Bye. So tonight, though very short, but I know some people usually say that just spices it up. We have a very clear overview of what mental health is and how we can seek for help, and that has greatly helped us. So for viewers online, thank you very much for joining in. Tonight with me we had Evangelist Jerry. My name is Elder John Mark Oladele. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much.
3, 2, 1. Tape rolling. Action.
Good evening and welcome once again to yet another amazing analysis session. And this time we are actually going to the Gen Z and the millennials. It's a great joy and honor to have some of our young people here live in the studio and also joining us virtually via the electronic media. I will just do a quick introduction so everybody introduces themselves. First and foremost, let's thank the authority of the church for allowing our young people to have the optics to be before the camera now and share their thoughts and how the church can move forward. So I have Daniel on my very immediate right. Daniel, you want to greet everyone?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. I really want to thank the authority of the church and everyone for giving us this privilege to be able to stand before the camera and before everyone. I really want to say thank you very much, sir. Okay, and then next to Daniel, I have Eri Onipede.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much for the privilege, sir. My name is Eri Onipede once again, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Okay. Virtually, we have Michael Samuel from Abuja. Michael, you want to say hello to the house?
Hello, thank you very much for having me.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the privilege. I want to thank the church authority also for the privilege. It's a great privilege to be here. I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have Triumph Obarotimi and Favor Ashokeji, who will join us later. But let's just dive straight into the topic. And sorry, I have my co-moderator, Pastor Joshua Orabi, who will be doing this together. Pastor, you want to say something to the house?
Yeah, I'm sure that this is another wonderful session like you've always had together with us. Now it is straight to Gen Z. Let's do it together. Let's talk youth. Let's talk moving forward.
Yeah. So the thing is, the topic is reaching the unreached millennials and Gen Z. And there was a conversation I was having with a friend of mine. And we're talking about the youths. You know, CAC will say our youths have run to some other churches. So that's my friend attends one of the churches that we think our youths have run to. So he was telling me that they are saying their youths are no longer coming to that church. Okay, now we are saying that our youths have gone to their church. They are looking for youths. Their youths are not in their church. Now, they think that, I don't want to mention denomination, they think that their own youths have gone to another denomination. Now, that denomination that they think that their own youths have gone to started a youth church so that their own youths will come back. So, see the three levels now. CAC thinks that, oh, our youths have gone to other denomination. That particular denomination, is saying they are looking for the youths. Where are they? They are not coming to our church. They thought that they've gone to another church. They went to that church. So, we are all friends. The friends, our friends in that other third church are saying that we are starting a youth church so that our youths will come back. So, where are the youths?
So apparently they are not even in the church.
Not in anywhere. They're not in any church. The youths are at home. See, that's a fact. Don't our youth have gone to another denomination is a myth.
A myth.
And we looked at it. If the youths of, let me mention a denomination, Redeemed, enter any denomination, if 20% of Redeemed youth enter any denomination, that denomination will know. If 10% of CAC youths migrate to another denomination, the denomination will know that people have come. So the reality is that our youths are at home. They're not in any church. So that's what. How do we reach you guys? What's the shoro? What's your problem? Do you understand? So how do you? What's it? So maybe let me start with Daniel.
Okay, thank you very much. You know, as you were speaking, I was just smiling and I was like, this is true. You know, when we're looking at youth, for example, now we're looking at the millennial and the Gen Z. We can say the millennial, maybe they are from people that are from giving birth to around 1981 down to 1996, and the Gen Z are from the 1996 down to till date. And if you should look at the age ranges, within this age range of, okay, maybe we are talking about 15 and 30, for example. So we're like, we are there. So for example, one way at which you can reach them is, if I will look at it very well, since they are at home and we are planning on reaching them, then we can easily do something whereby even the people that we have at hand, maybe the youth that we can say, okay, they are at hand, when they are actually empowered to do something. You know, youth nowadays, there's this kind of vibe, they actually love to see that. Many times they will be like, let me just stay at home, it's better than, you know, I'm vibing with my friends. So if we can implement some things in the aspect of, okay, we have some people at hand, when we empower them and we tell them that this thing is something that you can actually do, we actually give them 1 or 2 something like that. When they are going outside and the other people that are at home saw what church is doing for them, I think that will actually motivate them to like, let me go to that your church. You know, we are looking at these unchurched people that are really at home, that youth are at home. Some of the times youth can be at home maybe because of they see themselves to be let me look for where I can empower myself, let me stay at home and be on my phone. Let me be at home and doing this 1 or 2 things. When anybody wants to make money, everybody wants to do 1 or 2 things. But when we empower our youth here, putting more effort onto them, and they could see what even others are doing, what their fellow young youths that are going to church, what they are doing, then I think that will actually be a means to reach them. And because when you see something, you will be motivated by what they are doing to want to do that same thing. By so doing, I believe they will come to church. Because that's one of the strategies at which we can reach the unreached or the unchurched. That's how we can reach them, by empowering even people that we have at hand. And even the youth also, this is something that even the youth at hand that are in church, when they begin to work on those things that they have, because I know the church are really trying in empowering the youth. So when the youth are able to do 1 or 2 things, they are able to utilize that which they have been empowered with, then I know that by so doing, it will actually reach even the people that are not going to church, and they will be motivated to be like, if your church can empower you like this, your church can do this thing for you, then I should be able to come to that your church. And by so doing, we're already reaching out to people the unchurched. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. That's how one of the ways at which you can reach them. So when we're talking about reaching the unchurched, the millennial and the Gen Z, these people on their phone, they prefer to be on online church, they prefer to just be on my phone, let me just stay at home and not going anywhere. But when they begin to see that there is value given to the youth, even in church, then that itself will push them that, if you can be getting this kind of value, me that I'm on my phone, stressing my time, they will be motivated to come to church.
Exactly.
So I believe that one way I think you can be able to capture the mind of the youth and the heart of the youth in the church now is to empower the youth that are in the church. Because when the youths that are in the church, when they are empowered, people around will see the empowerment and will be forced to want to go to church. By so doing, they will be, let me go to that your church. Where is the your church? Let me go to your church. Let me attend your church. By so doing, we'll be able to reach the church.
Okay, so creating a vibe. Okay, I know that Eri is the guy, but let me go to Michael. Michael, what's you people's problem? What's your? Although Michael said, let me put this out. Let me cast you. Michael said he's not a millennial and he's not a Gen Z. They've not discovered his own generation. So maybe I have discovered your generation. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know if you can hear me properly.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So he said I'm in between the generations, so I'm going to probably on the long run we are going to discover my generation. So I think the thing is let's be realistic with ourselves. Okay, let's be very realistic. I think we're in a generation whereby we have the most realistic generation right now. According to according to statistics, we need to understand that this current generation, Gen Z and millennial, are the most unchurched generation that we have. We have about 50% drift in the rate of this current generation that are actually unchurched. So there's actually some salient issues. And I think when you in this current environment or this current world that we find ourselves, we have youth that are more exposed to things, are more intelligent. You have a kid of 12 years old right now that's already learning something that people that were 30 years old, 20-something years old were learning now. So I think the church is just not catching up with that. That is my own honest opinion. I feel like the church is not catching up with the current exposure that we have the current generation facing right now. And notably, if you notice also likewise, The generation right now are more evidence-based. We are more evidence-based. We want to see results. We want to see evidence of something. You cannot just tell us that. You cannot just come and tell us that you mix what you just come and turn water to wine. How did you just turn water to wine? How did it come to be? Scientifically, it's not possible. You understand? There's a phenomenon that we want to understand behind everything. So the exposure that we're having right now to what is going on in the world, the amount of information that we have at our disposal, the amount of uncovering that we have at our disposal is actually driving us. I was online one day, and it was last week. Someone tweeted something as regards, I know, on X. Someone tweeted something as regards Joseph Adele Babalola, I will post to you. And he was saying something in regards to that, how some of the things that he did, how where he knelt down and prayed for hours. If you go there, you see the footprint. And I took my time to check the comment section. See a lot of comments. People are trying to understand the phenomenon behind that. Exactly. So like, this is not you should play with yourself. This cannot be scientifically explained. So we're in that dispensation now. So I think the church have not properly been able to balance how to catch up to the current trend and situation that is going on. So that is it for my hand. That is what I think is actually happening specifically. If we can address that, I think we'll get to that probably on the later part of the show. So that's that for me.
Okay, so we're having everybody telling us you people's problems. So what's the work
actually, first of all, I want to appreciate this platform. We've been. And one of the things I appreciate about the church is growth. It's obvious that we are growing. First, before we talk about our problem, we should actually talk about where that problem is coming from, why. And the scripture was talking about the sons of Eli, and the sons of Eli were sons of Belial. Why? Because they knew not the Lord. So these days we are beginning to raise people, and our pastors are teaching messages that some of us may not be able to relate with. Like Michael has said, we are evidence-based, and it's important. We have fathers like Pastor Esu Oladele, our president. The truth is that everybody cannot teach like Pastor Esu Oladele. I think it was last year. It was at our youth conference, and he was speaking to us. I had the privilege to interview him one-on-one. In fact, I saved his clip, his interview in my archive, and I listen to it regularly. But the truth is that many ministers cannot preach like Pastor Esu Oladele. We have our general superintendent in our youth conference this year, and he was being interviewed here. As he finished ministry, my guys, because I happen to be the director of as he finished ministry, before I get here, my guys had called him, interviewed him, they were happy because of the words they could hear him speak. Many pastors cannot teach like them, and that's where a platform like this come in to build our fathers to really do justice to the scriptures accurately. So, and one of the things I would say is that the pattern, the method at which that message is getting to us. You will not want to, when you are talking to our generation now, you will not want to be how would I put it now, and I will not be rude. You will not want to be too harsh,
too bossy.
You must do this, you must do that. I can remember I was in a meeting, and the pastor was teaching, and he had taught for 3 hours, and this message to me was not. To me, I feel this message is not even scriptural. It's not biblical. After the meeting, he said some people to also wait again because you feel. So I felt, we have ministers that we look up to in the church, in Nigeria, and the truth is that many of us watch these ministers. We see how they talk to their brethren. We see how they talk to their church. We see how they talk to their people. But when we have ministers talking about ministers in our church, the modus at which we get the message is also very important. Let me open the floor to someone else.
Pastor Rabi will ask his question in a bit, but let me go to Triumph Obarotimi. Maybe you give us the Gen Z female version. What's the people's problem? What's the issue? Or what are we doing wrong that you people are not hearing? Maybe we are speaking German and you are hearing Spanish. So Okay, Triumph, can you hear us? Okay, unmute yourself, they said.
I don't think
Okay, let's, well, can you hear
Yes,
us?
I can hear you.
Oh, beautiful, go ahead now. Well, waiting be una wala. I mean, how we get the wala? Is it you people that have the wala or is us?
In my opinion, I just feel like there is not enough space for genuine questions out of the fear of criticism. Because some Gen Z, they feel like if I ask this question now, they won't answer it. They will just beat around the bush, and then they'll say they've answered the question. And you cannot ask again because it's going to seem, disrespectful and all. So most people don't even ask questions. They just sit down, listen, go home and do what they want to do. So the message is not really getting to them because they are not allowed to express themselves. Conversation is about speaking to somebody and being spoken to. But now it's just you are being spoken to. You don't even have an opinion. And now people, when they feel like they don't have an opinion, they just basically don't regard what you see. So that's my opinion.
Okay, Pastor, I have plenty of questions, but let me allow Pastor Rabi to.
Well, I understand the fact that generation changes, time changes. Like a book we read in primary or secondary school, time changes yesterday. This is just the truth. New information, new seasons, things that were different from the way we learned them. For example, we learned the hard way. But your own generation, the Bible says knowledge will increase. Knowledge has increased, like you've said. But I have a simple question. How do you guys run on campus, for example? Because I know at least that's a place where, What's the difference? I know that on campus most probably you're active, but what makes the difference? How come on campus you may be so active? I've heard of people who on campus they are doing this, when they come to church they go into their shells. What then is the difference? I think I've had the opportunity to visit you guys to a CAC here.
He's actually the prayer coordinator of Jabu.
I ministered
Triumph
there.
is in the choir. Michael is the regional youth choir coordinator of Media-Eshe region. So, how come you people can lead yourself and you will come out of your shell?
Okay.
Are you sure this is not pride?
Okay.
Can I inability to submit to authority.
No. Can I speak to it?
Yeah.
I wrote something here. It's when our generation is a generation that prioritizes excellence, and I say this a lot to people, and I think one of the things that I'm a church boy, and one of the things that cause issues between myself, the church body, is my drive for excellence. We want to do a meeting, and I'm the media director of the church. I write a budget of 300K. The others say, kill FF for Woshi. You say, 300K. I will feel offended. No. We will take sound. The sound engineer will come late to the production. We are supposed to start program by 9. The sound engineer is not yet set. Our pastor will say, Jamashila. Our generation will not do that. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
We are talking about our campuses. We know how to drive ourselves. But when it's involving you people, you people take it as good. And like what I think Favor had was
someone is calling me you people. I'm not part of your people. God save you.
I'm very sorry about that.
We accept people
It's just reality. I mean, I'm now.
You understand what I'm saying? So, your generation will feel we are being rude, and like Favor has said, the ability to communicate with ourselves. There's how I can remember. I actually have the privilege to coordinate media from my own conference at IKG1, and I was speaking to one of my guys, And we have somebody very old that was part of our team. He was coming from Odubanjo region. So he happens to be part of it. So I was speaking to my guy who were, so I was like, how do you come late to the production? Now you are going to leave. Because program is starting 9. I announced to everybody, please, these things we had issues, and to solve this thing, we have to come early, rectify this thing. But because you feel one way or the other, you come in. The program was starting 9. He came in 9:48, and it was to be the head of. We are supposed to do this podcast now, so it was delegated to be here. So he came late and I said, no, you coming late will not be holding this camera. This camera will not be holding this podcast because you are supposed to be here. You have to go out. Stay, and when probably we are done with what you are doing, you can come back. We can come back here together, set it up again, and go live. But because that man felt, no, you can't say that. Oh yeah, I was set it. I said, sir, we cannot say. If you and these are things in campus, your president can say, because you come late, or you are suspended. But you feel, with apology, we don't do that. If we feel, if this brother, Baba, why you do this kind of thing? Sure, you get. So these are one of the issues. It's not like that we are. So when we now come out of campus, we find it hard to relate with that aesthetics. Like I said, prioritizing. We fail to. There's how we do our thing in campus. If we want to hold a campus fellowship now, we make sure everything is working from light, from sound. You will find if we invite you to our campus as a special guest. You discuss if we have issues with light, you see that we'll just be running around. But if our father's running Egba program, Emashilo, I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. In fact, you yourself will take the program. You understand? Let me say this example. My church, we do a program yearly, an Easter retreat. So we happen to invite Pastor S.O. Falade. We are able to invite Pastor Falade. So before we start, we had light issues. So, and I'm the media director. So, and he was supposed to start the program. So, as we got the information that the light is not coming up, and although the sound is working, but the light is not, we cannot stream. So, I came to meet my daddy, Ebawa Sofun Papa P. There is a lodge. There's already an official Ebawa Fidadisi lodge. Coming to a set light. I think he got to Baba, so and then he took the mic and he was preaching. So for about 40 minutes we were unable to go. I was just offended. I said, oh God. So we failed to adapt to that kind of reality. So if you can help balance these issues, rectify these things, it's going to go a long way to reaching out to us. We feel we are beginning to see church as if we are not part of that economy. And let's bring it down to Christ Apostolic Church now. We are beginning to see to it as we are not part of the economy. Our churches. In fact, I think one of the sessions we were talking about church aesthetics. Many of us Gen Zs, we work from home. Like you were saying, sir, many of us work from home. Me, I can count with my fingers the number of times I go out. Maybe I want to get something from the store or from the mall or something. In a month, I got to go out of my door, of my room. So that's our generation. Do you understand? So, and when we are now coming out, we are expecting to see some things that are nice to see. We know you have a message, but the method at which we want to see that message is very important. We want to come to a church whereby we see everything working, we see the lights working. I was saying to one of my friends, it's been the last time I experienced a church atmosphere was in Abuja. I hope I can say this on here. It was Apostle Mike Oropo's meeting. So I went to his church, and before the program started, about 30 minutes, they were playing string. Literally, my ears were standing. Goosebumps. I'm telling you, I was feeling. The first time I fell under anointing, my pastor prayed. I don't fall under. I fell under. I cried. Honestly, I cried. I saw the picture. I was like, Eri. My uncle that was with me, bro. You dey cry. My own pastor, you dey cry. I was like, I don't know what to happen. So, but when I get to my church, the way we play the drums, the way,
okay, let me cut you there. But it's you people that play this thing. Okay. Did you understand?
Yes,
hardly will you find an old person.
True.
In fact, I saw one of my fathers, someone who taught me music. At the pastor, is part of the pastor's choir. He plays all instruments. He was sitting at the pastor's choir. He wasn't touching any instrument. I was like, 20 years ago, Papa would be everywhere. But now it's our time. We are the ones playing now. So if we are the ones playing, and I'm complaining that you are the ones playing.
Okay, now let me put this to you. Take aside. Let's take your personality. See that personality now. Let me bring you to a church in Ekiti. I come to you and I say, Daddy, keep Botan, keep PSR 550. Ejara PSR 9 S950. Eloni, Daddy, 2.8 million. So how will you take it?
Okay. I need you to. I thought that I will allow you guys to contribute first before trying to. I think at times our father should enlighten you, bring you into leadership. Most of the times you're not seeing the back end. I think that's the disconnect.
Exactly.
Fathers, please, if you're watching us, we need to bring these guys into church leadership. If you see that our average income in the church every Sunday is 20,000 naira, and we buy fuel 50,000 naira every Sunday, we won't bring a 2 million naira bill. But because you don't see it,
just assume.
You just think. You know that when we're younger, every child here, maybe some of you still think, you think your daddy is the richest one in the world. Why? Because there's always food on the table. You don't know what daddy went through to put that meal on that table. But by the time you start paying bills,
that's when you understand.
At times you just call your daddy and say, you are now.
You understand.
You are now.
Okay, sir. I think we'll open the floor.
Okay.
But I want to say this.
Okay.
I think that's the place where Favor was talking from. That's where the place of communication comes.
Okay.
in.
Okay.
Do you know that some of us can actually buy that keyboard with our money?
Yes.
Actually,
yes.
I was going to ask on campus, how do you sell yourself?
Exactly. I saw something on Instagram and one guy posted that there was a estate meeting and one Gen Z was asking for the estate account. But probably the way he asked for the estate account was rude. He was talking to professors. If I said one professor, I said, Mr. Lecturer. He was telling me. But the man who posted said, the elders were not interested there. Talk to this guy. And I said, as a Adrugo, he felt, my own silence is consent. You understand? So he felt, but till he said, and they feel the problem is not, they're just addressing the way the question comes, the way the guy stood up to ask these things, communication is very important. Meeting, like you said, this is the budget. Let's even see the church budget. Okay, this is what we'll go to our guys. So I can say that I can say this anywhere. Our youth conference this year from our conference center. This was what happened. They called us to our meeting. Hello, Eddie. This and that. And I called my guys. This is what is happening. One of my guys dropped 70,000. Wow. The least money we raised was 10,000 from our. I'm not saying that next year they should not give us money. I'm just saying that the place of communication.
I think we should listen to the guys online also.
I wanted to.
No, Favor just joined us. Favor Ashokeji, if you can hear us. We are asking what is you people's problem, and it seems that you people are saying it is us that have the problem. So what's your issue? What's the issue? Favor, unmute yourself. Let's hear you. I hope I'm audible, Favor.
I think she'll join us with audio alone.
Okay. Okay, let's while we're sorting that out, Michael or Treasure, you want to jump in before we come to Daniel?
Okay, sir.
On this kind of examples that Area has given, because we feel that in fairness to you people, the Yoruba adage, and most of you are from the southern part of the country, there's a Yoruba adage that a child will never grow old in the face of his parents. Even people like us, there's something that our parents would be like, we are old. So maybe we are looking at it, when did they born you? This is a read that we saw when you was growing up. So we want to ask of church budget. How much have you been?
How much did you bring into this church? How much is your tithe?
When did they born you? When did they born you?
What work are you doing?
So maybe that's the reality. So what do you have to say? Because for instance, I know Michael's team hosted a regional concert in Abuja. It has been the best concert. I mean, it can stand any concert.
Wow.
And those guys funded themselves.
Wow.
They spent millions, I can tell you that. So what is it? What's the issue? Because and I also feel that it's because responsibilities are not
been
committed
handed over
into
your
your hands. Last year, I don't know when you came, but I think last year you handed over to last year. I don't think 2 years ago Michael would have been able to contribute that much in that same choir, and he has been in that choir.
Can you imagine?
So what's it on that? Let me start with Michael, then we'll go to Treasure on that trend in terms of communication, in terms of bringing you guys into leadership. Michael.
At my Gen Z partner in the studio have highlighted, I think the issue is the church has not fully trusted the youth to handle something. I think that's where the issue is coming from. And also, the church is not really ready to embrace institutional change. You know, the institutional change in the sense that you have to understand that we are shifting. So before I was handed over to, I think our coordinator in the choir department was a pastor, man of God. And when the newscomers that were going to have to change and all that, we were like, okay, consequently still expect like it is the pastor to still be the coordinator. Then surprisingly, I think by the grace of God, I emerged. And everybody was like, you're going to be having a brother. Sort of that. Well, it's a challenge to me. I embrace it as a challenge. Push forward, set up my team, start working. But the only thing I separate body that has the person of my regional coordinator himself, he embraced us. That trust truly enough to actually do something. And thumbs up in all process. This is the advantage of actually backing us up as you or trusting us to handle things. Like you said, we don't tolerate failure. We are excellent in what we do. We want results. We are result-based. We are result-oriented. So anything you commit to us, we don't want to fumble. I think this is a message that our daddies and our pastors at home need to actually understand that as youth, we don't want to fumble. We don't, they say, Omo, you don't want to spoil your steez, though. We don't want to.
Absolutely.
So we follow through the process and also stop the team and we start working together. Where there's loopholes, in short, we don't even want to be coming today and telling them daddy, there's something that is there that would not know. It's a shame to us, like they slap to us. Like you just need to understand that. So all we do is that we just push on. So I think if the church is able to embrace that institutional change, they make you understand that no, these guys are ready for you. These guys are ready for this. Give them the opportunity, give them the platform. They will be like, no, what did they know? The honest thing is that
even also results comes out. So as those things were coming out, I think the church were even embracing it more. So at times they would come up, go ahead, source out things, bring things up and come up with things, and the church would be like, no, that's not how we are doing it here. They cannot be allowed here and the likes. I remember the concert you're making reference to, where we wanted to actually start the concert. It was looking how it's going to bring, how it's going to be, and there was this general knowledge that no, let's bring from amidst us, let's do this one, that one that we have within ourselves. And we're like, no, this is not about people that we have within ourselves. We want people to come and bless our life. Okay, we have the Redeems, we have the other churches and denominations that want to have programs. They bring people like Proposed to do a sermon and the likes to come and do one or two things. It's not because they feel like we don't have enough vast of knowledge, but these are some of the engaging situations that we have right now. These are things that people, the youth right now, want to experience different and they like institutional change. They are not static. You cannot be boxing up with the same thing every single week. We go to church, it's the pastor that preaches. We go to session, it's that the month, the pastor preaches all through the month and all the Sundays. And we are hearing almost the same thing. We understand his pattern of method of teaching already. There is nothing new. There is no new innovation or anything coming up. So you just get tired and you easily get tired of things. That's just the reality of things. We easily get tired of things. So we don't want to find ourselves even in a company or in a how do I put it? Going to physical space or community. We prefer to work remotely. Now have the opportunity to dive into some other things and some other areas. So that's just ITs for us. It's not rocket science. So
okay, Michael will join us back. Treasure, let's have you. I think we should start talking about solutions now.
Yes.
Time is really time is not our friend. So, what are the solutions? I still can't get over Eric calling me you people. So now I want to learn from you guys. And I'm saying this because I run a youth church, and I remember when we started the brainstorming for the youth church. I had some people closer to my age and some others farther from my age. So the people closer to my age were responsive. They turned out their assignments, they gave. So the Gen Z in the team, to me, I just like these guys are not serious. You know what? So I was almost getting angry that I'll just people in it. But the Holy Spirit ministered to me that maybe you need to go and read how to manage Gen Z. Thank God I was humble enough to go and take that lesson. So this is us, Sponge now. We want to learn as much from you. How do we manage you guys? How do we communicate? How does the church? Because we cannot do. Look at it. 70% of the church is you under 40. And if you look at the people in their 20s in that place, they are the most significant. So any pastor who is serious should be looking at how to handle you guys, how to bring you guys in. That's the fact. So let me start with Treasure. I don't. Is Favor here? Favor, can you hear us now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, beautiful. So after Treasure, Favor will come in. So Treasure, Triumph. How do we manage you guys? What are the solutions you feel that can bring inclusion, can bring productivity? How do we bring you guys in, and that will make you guys welcome or feel among in the church setting?
So, in my opinion, I feel like we should be allowed to spread our wings. You'll be surprised what young people can actually do if they were allowed to do it. If they were not restricted, if they didn't feel like, oh, if I do this now, won't they talk? If I do this now, won't they complain? If I do this now, what would that say? They scold me again. And our elders should probably try to understand from our own point of view. Because for instance now, in Jabu, they don't allow certain things that would draw youth to the church. They say, oh, because it's not a spirit gym as it used to be. But the truth is that it is as equally spiritual gym as this. It's just our own way of being, the spiritual gym. That's just what I can use to explain it.
So your people understand, but we don't understand though. Your people are laughing, but I don't understand. Can you break it down? What is the spiritual beauty?
Spirit cocoa.
So what do you mean? Like
for instance.
Yeah.
So in school, I'm going to give 2 instances. In school, where now for Lucas dinner now, and a lot of music and all, but they are said that the elders of the church says, no, don't play the songs. They will be like, no, don't play. It's a man when he's bitter and he's giving this Afro gospel style. They say, no, don't play it. You want to chill, or we should play some other people in the church. Even if they post like last week, we can play, but we can't play Prince Emmanuel because of how he is. And we're also not to invite other people from outside to the school. They say, oh, so that they don't preach against the doctrine of the church. But it's as simple as telling those people what not to do, so that they preach in accordance of the church, right? So it's like you're satisfying the youth and you're satisfying yourself too, if you actually look at it and try considering the youth. Because honestly, we cannot always live the kind of lifestyles that our parents lived, right? Because we are different and we're basically giving birth to in different circumstances and different times. So the way we would do things is definitely going to be different. The way we see things is definitely going to be different. The way we accept things are definitely going to be different. You cannot expect to bring an old man to talk about something that relates to young people. He cannot understand, no matter how experienced it is, until he has actually experienced it himself. So I just feel like they should allow us to speak. And honestly, you'll be surprised how many people can actually preach. How many young people can actually preach in the church. And another thing is that we should probably there's this thing in CAC, it's like gender discrimination, and they don't let ladies do certain things in the church. But you'll be surprised how anointed some ladies are. Some ladies are even more anointed than some men, but they cannot spread their wings because they are confined to a particular, they are confined to, okay, you are not allowed to do this, so let me not just talk, let me not just go. And honestly, the key to growth is basically just equality and knowing that you can learn from anybody at all. Like anybody, nobody is exempted from teaching. So my opinion is just let us spread our wings.
Okay, thank you, Triumph. Favor, there are loads of things we've asked. What's your problem? Is it are we the problem, or is it people that are the problem? Well, I think we're focusing on solutions now. So what do you think? How do we get you guys' attention? How do we reach you who are still our children? I can still pull your ears and say, come to church. Then how do we reach the people that we can't talk to, that they are your friends, they are your colleagues who are on church? So let me have your favor.
Yes, thank you, sir. So the first thing I want to talk about is like solution. Yes, you asked about solution. And one of the solutions is actually love. We should bring ourselves together in love. That we should not segregate the church in the aspect that there is older generation and there is younger generation. Obviously, there are the older generations and there are younger generations. But at the same time, we are a church and we are one. So when we are making certain decisions, we should not limit it to it's only make decisions. It's only older people that can make decisions, and the younger ones are just expected to follow. So we should give space for younger generation at the table, because we know that the world is evolving, and there are some things that older generations don't know that we, other generations, are aware of. And second, I just want to talk about familiarity. When we are, it is linked to what I just said, because it's over familiarity that in the church that does not allow older people to bring younger ones to the table. They are like, is this not the child that I trained up? Imagine my daddy at the table and me I'm at the table, and like I feel like most of them feel like they cannot, younger ones, cannot make decisions that are as wise as the ones that will make. So like I feel like we're not allowed to have space on the table in decision making, in activities of the church and every other thing. And another thing is that, well, it's still issue of familiarity, because when you were too familiar, this one is my child, I cannot just allow her to be making decisions that are that important, and the one that has to make decisions is when adults in the church, older generations, don't take we the youth so serious. They don't take us serious. That when youths when is church, general church program that is adults that are organizing, everybody comes to the church program, everybody is expected to be there. But when it's youth program, we had our youth anniversary in our church recently, and not as many people that will come to general church program, general church anniversary came for the youth program, because I feel like the youths are like look. It's not the important as the older people's programs. Their youth programs are not as important as our older people's programs. So that's I'm not required to come. I'm not required to like appear. Like that's just what I think, that we're not giving enough room to express ourselves. We're not giving enough room to like shine our lights, because when people don't come to our programs and they don't see what we can do, they still keep underrating us and they don't allow us to move into the system. So that's just what I think and that's what I feel. And solutions to this thing is just we should bring ourselves up in love and we should not try to segregate the youth away from the church that no, they are still children, they cannot make decisions. We should just try to involve them in the system. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me have your solution.
Okay, thank you very much, Sam. First, I want to talk about, my colleagues have said many things, and it's actually true. The place of communication is very, very well important. And I want to say something concerning CAC because I'm a CAC member in Bonafide 1, and I love CAC so much. And there was something the youth officer was saying. He was talking about something sometime ago. I think it was in a youth conference or the academic summit. Yes, it was. They were like we the Gen Z were involved. Like we actually had the student committee that was the chairman was Brother Fanny, DG Fanny. So they actually that's the truth I can talk about because that's where I am. So they're actually bringing we the Gen Zs into the system to make some organization, and I was privileged to be part of the committee that wing, and we made many contributions. We actually inputted many suggestions from our place. We cracked our brain. If you see the way we were like, let us do something now that they're giving us opportunity, we were up and doing many things. So one of the solutions is that when there is, just as they have said, when there is a room for us to actually express some of the things, then we can easily say, oh, this. And by the grace of God, we were able to have this the best. Okay. We actually had the best for the academic summit. That's a new thing coming from us. So we had the best. I've never seen academic summits having a vest, a t-shirt. But because unique, what have not been done before, we have to have a vest. And it was only the executives who just let us test on it with ourselves so that you not go and be like, oh, you are doing more than yourself. So we test, and by the grace of God, I believe that next year, academic summit, we'll be having the t-shirt that everybody do. And people were asking me personally that why do people not do that? We said that it's just the first time. So this is one of the benefits of putting the Gen Z into these things, and we could see that they actually aid us. So that is a place of communication. So I understand the perspective of our fathers too. They'll be like, if we're gonna give them this now and they just do it anyhow. I understand their own perspective of if they should not I will put as doctrine or anything. Because we go to school, one another we can easily say, hey, organize secretary, come on, do things quickly. There's this communication that is so easy. Another thing again that I want to say again to our fathers, because we too we are children and they are actually learning from them. Is another thing again is that me personally I've seen that sometimes we lack this genuine relationship with our fathers. Genuine relationship, we lack it. Most of the times, the fathers will not be like, I am the father here. Like, when I mean father, I don't mean biological. I'm talking of the elderly ones. They'll be like, I am older than you. You are like my child. How will you be? We lack this relationship genuinely, even with people. I was privileged to be talking sometimes ago. We were having a Bible study, and I wanted to give a solution. They were talking about our CAC Bible study. They were talking about Abraham. When he appointed his death, his lifetime, and I think that was the last 2 weeks Bible study. And they were talking about Abraham that he told his servant to go and get a wife for his son Isaac. And that was the Bible study we were treating. Then there was this question that this. Then I said, okay, I want to answer the question. Do you know that some of the people, that's one that were there that, what do you know? Keep quiet. What do you know?
And I was like, prayer coordinator on campus. Oh, you're not even the president. He's Papa on campus. He preaches on campus, but he cannot answer question. He cannot answer Bible study question. Not even take Bible study. Can you see? Taking Bible study, just to answer question.
When did we give back to him?
I was like,
what Bible does he know?
But glory be to God, our university chaplain and the other person of Pastor Oji Oluwasomi, he said, let him answer. I love him so much. I can give testimony to some of the young people are actually relating with the Gen Z because they understand this thing that if you don't give room to the Gen Z to actually do something, you will lack you will lack increment, you will lack productivity. You will just be gathering only yourself and baba. You will just see that you are running. Because and that is what we are focusing on, reaching the unchurched millennial and Gen Z. So when you keep on saying they should not answer, you say as you see, do you think I will be motivated to want to answer? Even though I have questions, even though I have answers, I will just sit down and be looking. So, but when they now say, oh, Pastor Blasomi and I think Pastor Magogola, some of the chaplain, they said, I didn't know, let him say something. Then I spoke that this is the, because we understand to some extent, they can be looking at that we are little, we are small, we don't know anything. But I tell you, relationship with God is not a matter of I've been born this time. Fellowship with God is not a matter of, or growth in God. It's not a function of I've given life since 19 something. That's our story. What we want is, how much do you have this fellowship with Him? Because we commune with God, we understand to some extent priesthood. That I was saying it. What I gave was that I said sometimes we could see what Abraham did. What Abraham did was that he exercised priesthood even over the family. That even the servants could not do anything else but to just do the will of God. Because Abraham has taught him so much that you must follow the will of God. The man did not eat anything there. He did not do anything. What he did is followed what he had already been told to do. That this is what I want to do. I want to get wife. He made sure he did everything. Even though they come and eat, he did not eat until he finished that business. So that the man Abraham, he has already exercised priesthood on the family. But how many fathers today are exercising priesthood? They'll be like, it's for the mother. That was what I wanted to say actually. And it's something that I believe is something that is not necessary that we are already understanding now. But you know, they say I have to keep quiet. So I'm just saying that's for a case study. But thank God that we have someone like Pastor Blasomi now, and quite a number of people, the youth officers who is bringing the Gen Z into the. So if we can have that, we will reach even the unchurched Gen Z and millennial. Another thing again that you want to say something?
Yes, I just want to add this to cover.
Sorry, let me just say the last one. Another thing again is that our response to the people, to the Gen Z. You know, some of the time, just as you said, that they do not understand the back end, you know, some of the time, they'll be like, you're still a small boy, but that small boy is doing many things that you cannot do. That small boy that you're saying, he cannot understand, is that small boy, that same small boy, that will still be telling you that, Daddy, that's not how to do it, that's not how to do it, this how to do it. On your phone, it's your phone, personal phone, he will be telling you this how to do it. And yet, you are telling him that he cannot understand. Begin to train and teach, little by little. These people, bring them into, look at what they do, correct them. The next time they will do better.
Yes, sir.
Than just saying leave. They will not be motivated. They will not see church as nothing because church is not adding value to them. You know, it is when you express yourself, that's when you begin to see your lapses. Yes, there are lapses that we make. We made a lot of lapses. I'm a student. I understand you understand what I'm saying. We understand what I'm saying. There are lapses sometimes that will come and correct ourselves after we pray. Bro, what you did in that place? What you said in that place? What did we begin to highlight things and begin to say I did. But that is because we give room for expression.
Exactly.
But if the fathers are saying go and say that they don't give room for expression, then how do you want? And don't forget, it is this same Gen Z that will take up the church.
Yes, you are whether you like it or so let me just add to that. If you don't go by retirement, you shall die before us.
Last.
We will not die before you.
Amen.
We will bury you. So one way or the other, you shall go.
That's the thing.
So we need to wrap up.
We cannot finish up.
We continue offline. When we finish,
I want to say the solution. I just wrote some stuff here.
Okay.
One, let the church prioritize excellence. Let the church go digital. If possible, can be writing letter from the prison. I don't see why churches cannot, go digital. The world is going global. We are in a digital world now, so the church should go digital. And I wrote a method and content of the message. Service time. Our service time is very important. As much as we want to capture us, our service time is important. Planning, proper planning. I wrote here church aesthetics and interior. I said that earlier. Program schedule. We are like Michael said. We are result oriented. We want to see what you have for us. We want to see what you have for us. And I say this that we need to start raising. Our fathers need to raise intentional. And this is a message to ourselves. We need to be intentional with ourselves. We should not go to church with sentiments. What my dad would say, what people around me would say. We should be intentional about the God we believe in. So that's what I have.
Okay, your closing thoughts, Michael. Briefly.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, okay, I have a few points here actually. You have mentioned some of them. I just want to highlight one. One of it is we have to embrace diversity. I think in Christ Apostolic Church is a salient issue that we need to address. That people believe they are more focused on one particular ethnic. Very, very important that we embrace diversity because this generation we have a lot of ethnicity. A lot of different ethnic groups. So we want to bring more allow them to stay within. We need to embrace that. Also, we need to encourage mentoring programs. Very, very important. Mentoring program, very, very important. Our leaders in the church, our pastors and the daddies need to encourage mentoring program. Very, very important. Also, we have to develop communities, youth communities, very important. I think an opportunity to be a member of Praise Be Church is a youth community, and it's a community, online community made online, digital, physical, made for youth community. Where if you come there, you have the freedom to express yourself, you have the freedom to do some certain things. I think first and foremost, we need to embrace this more. When we embrace this more, we are going to see our youth coming back to the church. Trust me. I think that's all for my hand. So because of our time. Thank you.
Okay, Favor, let's have your closing thoughts briefly.
Thanks, sir. So, like I said earlier, they've said almost everything I have in mind, that we should go digital and we should invest in actually building rapport with the youth, regardless of being older or being younger. We should come together as one, and we should emphasize on love. We should come together as one. We should be able to correct and talk and speak honestly about youths when they do things, our reaction to whatever they do, whenever we give them opportunity to do things, our reaction should be honest, but we should not forget that it should be in love. Because when you correct somebody in love, regardless of whatever you say, even if it's if it doesn't sit well with the person, but when the person realizes that you did it in love, the person will be like, okay, I think this person means well for me. So we should not forget to always correct in love, regardless of our older people should not forget to correct us in love while giving us the opportunity to stand in front. And above everything up, we should not forget to preach Christ. As much as we're trying to draw the youth to not feel left out, we should not forget to preach Christ. We should not forget to preach the gospel. Thank you.
Okay, God bless you. Let's have Pastor Rabi just have his closing thoughts.
Yeah, I strongly want to agree with everyone tonight, and believe me, this is very essential. It's your age, it's your time. I want you to remember something. These were the words of the regional superintendent from Anosike region today. His parting words at his word today, at the lessons today. He said, don't forget that there's tomorrow also. Guys, this is your time. But believe me, whatsoever you do now will serve as legacies for the ones coming behind. Don't think you'll be young forever. Forever young, there's nothing like that. It's only a song. We were also young like you. And now we understand things you don't understand. So again, Jesus has to be the bedrock. Remember that everything you do right now, you do it for yourself. And most importantly, you do it for God. The records are there. Preach Christ. Like I think Favor is saying. Preach Christ. Don't let any limitations hold you back from doing that. Whatever souls you will win now will be written in your own records and not to any pastors. No one should hinder you. No one should stop you. You can do it. Most of the youngest apostles we have today started even at your ages without complaints. So let's move forward, looking unto Jesus, who is the author and the finisher of our faith. God bless you.
Thank you very much. In closing, I know Triumph went off and joined us. Don't worry. I want to just correct, or no, not really correct, just explain the reason behind some of the decisions our fathers take. Maybe Triumph actually talked about communication, and she was saying that you're prevented from inviting ministers who are non-CAC. Now, all the guys under my leadership, I've told them they are going to, you must go to a theology seminary, not to become a pastor, but to understand the Bible. Now, there are schools of thoughts, and there are things we believe in Christ Apostolic Church. You'll be too naive to think it's just because of don't wear jewelries or that's too trivial. But there are things that we believe in Christ Apostolic Church that are fundamental to our faith, and others don't necessarily believe it. For instance, we believe the Bible is the word of God, immutable, irrefutable, and it was inspired by God. But we've heard preachers say that, I've heard preachers correct the Bible. Did you understand? So That's the mind of our fathers when they say, or let us know the minister who you're bringing. You may not understand. For instance, once someone is teaching heresy, because I've studied, I've done theology, I understand these schools of thought. I know this is a Calvinist. I know this guy is on this school of thought. So when I'm telling you not to listen to him, it's not because of don't wear jewelries, he's wearing jewelry. That's too trivial. It's too tiny. Because it's tiny, it's just tiny, but because of our core beliefs. So maybe they haven't communicated it well to you. I apologize on behalf of our fathers, but that is one of the reasons why they say, okay, let us know who you are bringing. Let us know their attitude, their character. Someone can be a good motivational speaker, a good orator, but their lives are not preaching those things. So that is the reason, and I'm very sure that now that you know the reason, you will also think in that direction. But I really want to appreciate you guys. Thank you for bearing your hearts out. And I want to appreciate the church authority for allowing you guys. I mean, look at their faces. I still cannot get over the fact that me and Pastor Joshua we are now called
you people.
You understand? Like,
it's okay. God
understand. Yeah. It's fine. So thank you very much, guys. God bless you. And to all our viewers across the globe, thank you for staying tuned till about 10 p.m. Nigerian time. The Lord bless you. Tomorrow we wrap up the pastors' conference with a beautiful Holy Communion service. Our fathers are going to wrap up the analysis session with us. So please stay tuned. We are going to have our fathers in the studio pray with us, share their thoughts with us. And I want to thank the team in the studio staying up until this time. They've been up since 6 a.m. and they are still up till 10 p.m. The Lord bless you in Jesus' name. Amen. So I'll see you tomorrow by the grace of God. Good night and God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you.